Relax. The next one is the new direction for heritage. So, Phil, would you like to introduce that?
So look, councillors will be aware too from earlier discussions that the council staff have gone out for a very full engagement with the relevant heritage groups in our city, and there were some clear findings from that they can elaborate on. So what in fact the overall finding is that in fact community groups want council to have a collaborative approach to work with them, and there's clear indications too that they would like more support from council, and there is also a clear request really for community involvement in heritage, and lots of positive ways of actually them being involved, and heritage trails I guess was one important example. The other thing that came through from the engagement is capturing that intangible part of history, which is sometimes hard to pinpoint, but oral histories will be an example. Also making sure that we take sensible and careful care of the city's archives and that kind of thing. But other questions I would leave to the staff to answer.
Right. Now there
was one addition
yes,
we were making
playing
too.
around with that, but it seems to me that it's gone in the wrong place.
So I think it should be in the fourth bullet point.
Yeah, note that.
So the words, and I think.
Oh no, that's fine. No, it actually works. So seek opportunities to improve and enhance local and community use and access. I think, you know, that one of the issues that's come up is that, for example, and we're going to follow up on this, but some of the conditions that we've put in place require, you know, community open days or community access in some ways, like the Christchurch Club, and it's just a question of, you know, making sure that access is one of these criteria, so that they're not hidden away. You know, we've had those discussions about, well, we had it about the pump house then as well. You know, how does the community engage with this heritage, given that the community is essentially making a contribution to the retention of the heritage fabric? And so, and I guess if there are opportunities to enhance local and community use at the same time, that's great. But it's not a condition. It's one of the things to be taken into account in our conversations. Right. So you're moving that, Phil, and Glenn's seconding it. Yeah, please do.
So you went out to interested parties and consulted to get to this point, is that correct?
Is this working now?
Everything
that you see up there in terms of our recommendations has been driven by the results of the engagement and the consultation process we've gone through. We as staff went out with open-ended questions to ask people, what do you value? Why do you value it? What do you think is heritage? What legacy would you like to leave? So we went completely without any values or judgments to start with. The recommendations we've put in, the principles of inheritance and legacy, of tangible and intangible heritage, of community and local identity and sense of place, and of multicultural, multi-generational heritage are all the messages that have come back from the community. They're not driven by us. We are really, all we're doing is pulling them together and reflecting them back to you.
Because with regards to that, I mean, I won't mention any names, but I was contacted by someone who was surprised at the contact, but very, very pleased with the actual process, etc. So I guess it's really moved forward because they were surprised at the initial contact and the way it was done, but really, really happy. So with this as it is up there now, is that still in line, as you believe, with everything that was not by yourselves, but by those that you involved and communicated with and included?
Yeah, it's extended slightly through the process, obviously bringing in movable cultural property as a separate item before it sat through our implementation plan, and really pulling forwards the opportunities to improve and enhance this access and use. They weren't things that came through specifically from the consultation, but they are messages that we can very easily fit in and work with during the implementation process.
Cool, thank you.
I think the process has been fantastic. It really has. It's been very open. I mean, I've had really good feedback too, Tim, so it's, you know, well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yanni?
Yeah, I was just going to thank the staff for the work that they've done on this, and just to endorse that, I went to the initial workshop that was held in New Brighton, and, you know, it's a really good model, I think, of us having two-way conversations with our community, and it's something I think we can learn from on a whole wide range of other areas that we work through as council, whether it's things like early learning centres, volunteer libraries. But when we get people together who have an interest in something and sit down and listen to them and put a process in place to work with them over coming up with solutions to what are our city's challenges, I think people really appreciate that. So I just wanted to acknowledge that the staff did a huge amount of work. They organised some additional mechanisms to feed back to the people that had been involved, which was appreciated. And I think the really exciting thing is about the next opportunity, which is really formulating that strategy with those key people who have shown a keen desire to be involved. So I'm really supportive of this. I think this is, you know, it has been a long time coming, and it's, you know, post-earthquake, I would have loved to have seen this done sooner, but we're in the situation we are now, and this is a start, I think, of a really exciting journey.
Excellent. Oh, Glenn, Yanni, oh, sorry, Dion, Jimmy.
Thank you. I just wanted to back up Phil there with 4D, so that italicised piece, seeking opportunities to improve and enhance local and community use and access. So obviously we all value what we're doing here, the overall project of heritage, but we do have that creative tension of public funding in many cases for private dwellings. So that's what that seeks to actually get to wrestle with that and to come out with some, you know, good outcomes where the community does have access to these places which receive grants. So I'm all for promoting a heritage trail, for instance, that will open that up. But it is really important that we consider it crucially with our stewardship of public money over private places.
Dion?
Yeah, I was actually going to talk about point 4D as well, because it's something that I keep talking to people who want to sort of be engaged with our heritage. I think we've lost so much heritage in our city that what we do have, people are starting to sort of see that actually as we start rebuilding the city, that heritage is important, and people do want to see what was here in the past, especially in the built heritage, both European and Māori heritage there. I do have one suggestion, and I think it's not necessary to put it in, but just as we're starting to develop this further, in point 2, the third bullet point there, a story-based approach I really like, but that acknowledges all our cultures. I actually think we need to start thinking about respecting our cultures, because a lot of the times we do acknowledge things, but maybe actually respecting it is a lot more important than just acknowledging it, because that's how you start building those cultures into our everyday life and actually start moving forward. So I mean, we could put it there, but I'm not too fussed, but I just think we actually need to be thinking about respecting cultures, because that's how we're going to move forward into the next sort of iteration of our world.
I think if the mover and seconder are happy, we could write on the word "and respects." I think you acknowledge and respect.
Yeah, you do.
I think that's a good point.
And there was good discussion with representatives from tātou as well, so I'm sure they would appreciate that.
Yep. Jimmy.
Okay, yes, I just want to follow the Dion, the kind of the questions. If we review the paragraph 2, bullet point 3, we thought we acknowledge and respect all our culture. But the paragraph 5, I think that's most crucial and important. This very good opportunity to facilitate the workshop we recognize all those multicultural kind of heritage, no matter story, visible or intangible, etc. Probably it's not just based on the geographic, maybe need to consider demographic. So all those key stakeholders, community, I assume a moment probably Canterbury Chinese Association, because they settle in New Zealand and wider maybe Canterbury Christchurch probably 160 years. You know, we need to invite them to be a kind of partake of this workshop, and also probably Christchurch Multicultural Council, probably on behalf of wider the multicultural community. We need to consider invite them as well to partake of this workshop, to make this the kind of heritage strategy more kind of inclusive. This is my recommendation.
That's good, thank you. All right, I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Thank you.